So imagine that you are a PM at Netflix. How do we increase the engagement on the platform, right? Hey folks, hey peeps. I think we'll just get started. So Keerthana, let me just quickly introduce myself. Further upon, you can talk about yourself and we can take it from there. So I'm currently having around 10 years of work experience in product management. Currently working for a B2B SaaS HRMS startup called HROne. Our core focus currently is how do we scale our products from the current state onto which we are part of. So that's the core focus onto which we are. That's bit just about me. Now go and talk about yourself. We can get it started.
Sure. Thank you, Adarsh. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keerthana, and I have a total experience of 7 years. And for the past 3 years, I've been working as a product manager. About my experience, in the past 7 years, worked for three companies.
All right, let's get started then, Keerthana. So imagine that you are a PM at Netflix, right? So we had a stakeholder session wherein we brainstorm about this, right? And this is something that we thought of, right? How do we increase the engagement on the platform? And let's say you are the PM, right? You are sitting in that room along with the discussions. And this is something that was an open-ended question. So, and you were asked, right? How do you think about this, right? Could you create a strategy to increase the engagement on the platform?
Okay. To see if I understood it right, so we just wanted to increase the engagement of Netflix because we feel that we can do better. Is it that we are seeing some issues and then we want to increase the engagement, or we just feel like we can do it better?
So currently, we think that we can do more better in terms of engagement.
Okay. Okay, I will begin with a couple of questions to understand the problem statement better. And then from
Hmm.
there, I would like to take it forward. So to begin with, so Netflix is a global product, but it's also very region specific. So are we trying to target any specific region, or whatever changes will make, or whatever optimization we'll do? Is it global?
It's global.
Global. Okay. So Netflix operates equally. I think it gives equal attention to both the web and mobile version. Is it specific to any particular platform, or again, it should be common across both?
So we are talking about a common strategy across both.
Do we have any time or budget constraints?
Nothing that we know of yet.
Okay. And are we allowed to make any changes to the application? The reason why I am asking this question is because Netflix is something that everyone is using these days, and they are more accustomed to the way the app interacts with you, right? So making any changes can have an impact here and there. So I just want to understand, do I have the freedom to make any changes to the UI?
So Kirtana, you are a product manager, right?
Yeah.
It falls whatever falls under your purview.
Okay.
That's the scope, basically, right?
Okay. Anything else that I should keep in mind before I go proceed?
So I think we're good. We can proceed.
Because this is how I would like to structure my answer. I'll just give you an overview. If anything else I should add, or you feel it's not relevant, we can skip, and then I will deep dive into the answer. So first, I will discuss about the Netflix and its business model. Then I'll talk about the user segments who might impact this particular metric, which is engagement we're talking about, and who are the possible competitors, what are the alternatives today we have in the market, and for this particular metric, who do you think I should target? So I'll talk about that. Then for those users, what can be the possible pain points? And to solve those pain points, what can be some of the solutions? I will prioritize as I come up with some 4 to 5 solutions. And then I will talk about what are the metrics that we can look at towards the end. So does this sound good before I get into the analysis?
Yes, we can move forward.
Just give me a couple of minutes. I will look at each segment and I will get back.
Sure.
Yes, Adarsh. I just wanted to confirm this as well, that when we talk about engagement, we are just trying to talk about the average watch time, right, of the users.
Yes.
Okay, because anyway, since we are talking about engagement here, I will only talk about the existing users. And I think anyway, Netflix has the paid plan. So I think I'll just go ahead with people who are already having the subscriptions, and how we can increase their average watch time. Is that okay?
Sure thing.
All right. Okay. To begin with, I'll talk about Netflix. So, like I was saying, the business model is very straightforward. You pay and use it to watch the content. It's primarily focused on shows and movies. So, I use Netflix, but I use it only for them. So, I'll just, in the interest of time, only talk about that. If there are any features, anything else that Netflix is doing, we'll keep that aside for now so that I am able to wrap this at the earliest. And so, when I come up with solutions, I will also make sure that it aligns with the existing model of Netflix, because I don't think Netflix would want to deviate from throwing a free version of anything. I think they've not done it from the beginning. So whatever solutions I come up with, I will make sure that it aligns with the current business model. Since we're talking about engagement, I would like to segment my users between daily users, weekly users, and monthly users. And like I was saying, all these users are already someone who have their subscription. Daily users are already using it as per our expectation. And then we have monthly users, we can call them a bit idle, but they do have a subscription. And then we have weekly users who have the subscription, who've been using, and not as much as daily users. I think focusing on the weekly users to improve the engagement. If there is any other preference, others, you can let me know.
I think we can move forward.
Okay. To talk about the competitors, the known competitors are Apple TV, we have Prime, HBO, and a lot of regional OTT platforms as well, right? Like we have in India, if you see, we have Hotstar, we have the etc. etc. And some of the alternatives, because if a user is not spending some time in Netflix, that doesn't mean that they are productive or they are busy. It's because they have been spending that time somewhere else, and those platforms can be Instagram, Star Sports to watch live streaming of sports, theaters. Nowadays, we see a lot of concerts happening. So these are some of the alternatives people choose over Netflix, or people who have Netflix but who are also using these platforms where they to kill time. And like I said, I would focus on the weekly users. And if this is convincing others, we'll come up with some pain points and some solutions. Till here, is it okay? Or anything else I should be considering?
Yeah, I think we can move forward.
So some of the pain points that I can uh, quickly think of when I think about the alternate and the competitors is that one major pain point, which is something everyone would be facing, is to decide what to watch. There are a lot of things in Netflix, but sometimes it gets very difficult to begin something. So, or if you're already watching something and you're bored of it, now you want to choose something else. So, deciding what to watch is definitely a pain point. And second thing is time constraint. Like on an average, I think an episode is easily 1 hour in Netflix, unless and until you're not watching any sitcoms. I don't know if everyone has that 1 hour to dedicate. There are some people who would want to finish one episode at a stretch. So breaking that is not something they would want to. So they not I don't know if everyone has that 1 hour. So that time constraint is an issue if you want to spend 1 hour with Netflix. And then no focus time, because sometimes, let's say you are in a meeting, you're not active, you zoned out, you just use Instagram to scroll 5 6 reels. But that is not something you can do with Netflix, because with Netflix you have to dedicate that time, and you have to pay attention to what you're watching. Otherwise it's a waste of time. But that is not the case when you're scrolling through YouTube shorts or Instagram reels. It's okay if you're not able to understand a lot of things. So you need that focus time, and that is an issue if you don't have to give that focus time for Netflix. Fourth pain point that I could think of is no crowd experience. When we talk about alternative to Netflix, we talk about theaters, and theater experience is definitely a very different experience. Though we have a lot of new shows and movies that gets launched with Netflix, that watching with a lot of people is definitely missing. If a movie is getting released in a theater, and after a month, if it's getting released on Netflix, within that month, a lot of people have already watched it. Because everyone wants that theatrical experience, which is something you might not get in Netflix. So even if the movie gets released in Netflix, half of the people are not even interested to watch it again because of that not having that experience. No live streaming. For example, Hotstar goes really high during April, May because of IPL. and then we have World Cup, so many other things happening, and that's because of the live streaming. So I think Netflix doesn't have that. So that is definitely one pain point. The last one at this point I can think of is no privacy. I think privacy is definitely a concern because even Swiggy, Zomato has incognito these days. So I think Netflix has doesn't have the privacy. If you take in India, there are a lot of content in Netflix. You are sharing it across multiple people, so you don't really want, if you are watching something, you really don't want people to know that you're watching it, especially in that shared space. So these are some pain points I could think of at the moment. If I can come up with some solutions that would cater to these pain points, thinking about solutions, okay, to help with the decision of watching something. So when I think about the user flow, a person is opening Netflix. If you're not watching something, if you're deciding to watch something new, you are searching that and then you are playing that and you're watching it and it's over. Or you open the Netflix, you click the genre, you are from the list of content associated with the genre, you're deciding what to watch. Then you finish it. You either finish it or you don't finish it because you are not liking it, so you drop it and then that ends there. So the decision part, to cater to that, we can have a surprise content. Like when you click a particular genre, it gives you the list of uh, content associated with that genre from which you can choose. Or you can always go for a surprise content where you just click that button and then it throws you a mini version of multiple shows or movies from the genre. And the reason why it can be a good to have is people who want to kill time. Let's say you're just having your dinner, you want to kill time. So you have 30, 40 minutes and you don't want to spend those 30 minutes to decide what to watch. Instead of something is playing on the TV, you're happy about it. So you just click that button and it shows you mini content from, let's say, 1 hour episode. You get the 10-minute version of something. And then you click next. It gives you a 10-minute version of a different show. It gives you a 10-minute version of a different show. So it's more similar to scrolling Instagram, but it's a 10-minute content, so it will keep you active for 30 minutes or let's say 40 minutes with four contents, five contents at max. So that can be one thing, and it should be okay because even in Instagram you don't know what the next reel is going to be. So and if you don't like it, you can always skip. The same thing goes here. If you don't like it, you can always skip. And while doing this, we have to make sure that we are not giving any spoilers as well. So this is one thing. Second thing is a bit similar to this, but instead of going for a surprise content and stuff, you just open a show. Like for example, you are opening, let's say, Game of Thrones. That's 1 hour per episode, but you don't watch 1 hour fully. You open the show and it gives you snippet within the same page. So where you've already watched the show, but you don't have to watch everything. Like it's a 1 hour show, but I don't want to watch everything again. I am okay if certain things which is very intriguing, I want to just go back. This scene was very good. So Netflix already knows that which part is very attractive to the users and which has been very popular. So you can just have 10-minute snippets of everything. You can have them in chunks within the same show or movie. Have it so that when a user, like when they think about it, they just go there, they just click the first snippet, it just keeps playing. So you're only watching the important one from the show. You're not watching the entire show. That's not needed. So that way it saves you some time, but and it helps you in killing some time as well. Third thing, I think Netflix already has a shorter version at the moment, very similar to Instagram Reels, but I think it's not that successful. So if we can optimize it based on a person's interest, like for example, even I think couple months back, Instagram introduced this where you can choose what sort of content you prefer in your reels, like food or cats, dogs, whatever. So similarly, in the shorter content within Netflix, you can choose what shows you're interested in. That can be based on a person's preference. Like if you're interested in watching your existing ones that you've already watched, you want to just scroll 30 seconds, 1 minute content from multiple shows, or it can be the ones that you've not watched as well, which will help you to go back and watch that show. Like for example, there are multiple reels that come, Netflix shorts that comes. Now it's very interesting. Now I know that okay, this show is good, maybe because of the two three contents that I've seen. Now it helps me to go back and watch the entire episode or the show as well. Optimizing it based on a person's preference would make it a bit successful. Then fourth thing I could think of. to solve the crowd experience is to have something very similar, uh, like a Netflix party where it will let you connect with a lot of people, connect with your friends uh, through an invite, and it will help you to come together and watch it with a bunch of people you already know. So that is something I think Amazon already does. I think Netflix can do that. So can be to host concerts. I mean, the concert thing is very trending these days. So but not everyone gets the full experience of a concert. Recently, we have this Taylor Swift concert that was launched in theaters. So similarly, if they can do that in Netflix, that will be good because I have not been to a theater, but I've seen a lot of reels related to that. So if Netflix can do that, that will be really good. And sixth can be to release a movie with a one-time experience. Like for example, there is a movie that is getting released. Today it gets released. Everyone can watch it anytime. The same thing you can do, continue doing, but also to have a one-time experience, which will help you to come with a lot of people. Like for example, when you're watching IPL, there are millions of people watching it at the same time. And when you are watching, there are a lot of people commenting, there are a lot of people giving you reactions, chatting. So that is people are completely you don't know, and there are lots of people. So you can give that one-time experience to compensate the crowd experience that Netflix doesn't have yet. One thing to solve for the privacy can be to have passwords for every profile. That would be a bit useful. So these are some of the solutions that I can think of. And to prioritize, so in the interest of time, I'll just go ahead with my gut call. Like as a user, what is something I would be looking forward? Definitely, a quick solution would be to have for profiles. I think that's very important because you have a privacy in everything these days. You would have never imagined the Swiggy coming with an incognito mode. So definitely, you need something like that for Netflix as well. So having password will be really helpful. That can be a quick solution. Second thing, based on the users, the type of users and the problem we're trying to solve, I would say having snippets of movies. You're opening, so this is how it can be. You are opening a show that, let's say, Friends, you're opening. It's a 20-30 minute, it's a 20-minute content, but you don't want to watch fully. There are only few things in that particular episode which is good, but instead of me going and opening that particular episode and then dragging it to that particular scene, Netflix already knows which is good. So you can have multiple bits of that particular show, and which depending on the duration of the episode, like if it's a 1 hour episode, you can have 10-minute chunks, which will help you to navigate easily, which will help you to kill time. So these are the two things I can quickly think of. And finally, how would I measure this? So we already have the average watch time for the type of users we are catering to. So I would see the increase as well as the decrease. The reason is we are introducing a new concept. So when we say snippets, I would like to see if people are spending more time in snippets, but they are not going back and watching the show again. That is something I would like to see. If on an average weekly user is spending 2 hours in Netflix, I would see if it is the same 2 hours and then it's an additional time spent in snippets, or is it like only people are interested in snippets? That would give me an idea of if I should optimize more on this particular feature. So that is something. So the average watch time and the time spent in snippets, and depending on the UI changes, I would say if a person is opening a snippet, are they going back and resuming the show, or are they clicking next, next, next? Are they trying to skip it? So which will give me an idea of if the snippet I'm showing to the user is useful or not. So these things I would like to track. And password would like to see how many people have started using this. Obviously, I think everyone would use, but people who were using, how their frequency of watching something have been increased in Netflix. So these are the things that I would measure. So to summarize it, I was targeting weekly users, and the pain point I have picked is that deciding what to watch. That is what I am trying to pick, and the solution which I was trying to prioritize here is to give snippets and give a password protection for multiple profiles, especially when you're sharing something. And I would like to measure how it's working across snippets and how it's working across actual content. And people who started using password, how they have started, how is their interaction with the app now?
I think it's been great. So I think few things. that I would like to highlight. I think good start with the segmentation of users that we did about daily, weekly, monthly segmentation. But we could have also went towards intent-based segmentations. For example, like binge watchers and social viewers for just capturing a deeper understanding of things. In terms of the competition analysis that we covered, we had definitely identified very relevant competition, competitors and alternatives. But we can further go a little bit deep into why a user might choose these. For example, in why a user might go into Instagram for quick content or theaters for social experiences, and then further it will unveil to a new loop for me to solve, right? In terms of pain point, we definitely recognize, right, decision fatigues and time constant, but we could have just gone a little bit more deeper in terms of what are the key specific data points that we want to check and solve for. Maybe some drop-off times, right? Some crucial drop-off points, or what are the common frustration triggers, right? That we want to actually capture and try to tap in that. I think solutions were great. Definitely, there are few solutions that Netflix is already working on. There are a few very interesting ideas that we try to capture. I think in terms of prioritization, right, I wouldn't comment much on the solution. I think it was all good. In terms of the prioritization, I think gut call is definitely good, but I think there could be some structured prioritization that we could use at some level. I think Moscow Rise to actually keep focus and alignment towards high impact ideas. Privacy concerns, definitely profile passwords are good. But I think, as you mentioned, rightly mentioned, right, having a incognito mode or private viewing options, I think that's what the nuance of industry is nowadays in terms of having a private view or consumption of certain content, right? So we can have that. Overall, I believe it was very logical approach. Um, but we could, if we could just add that angle of a bit of personalization and social experiences, and then we could solve towards that, I think it would be great, right? Uh,
Correct.
the last comment, I think introduction was good. Maybe in the end, just to add a touch base of a bit of personalized touch, we could also add, what your hobbies are by in the end. I would love to do XYZ things while I'm not doing these things that I'm currently doing now, right? So at the time when an interviewer is trying to examine between a lot of candidates,
Mhm.
and I think this makes a lot of differentiation. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think in terms of rating rubrics, clarifying questions, I think it could be 3/5. Understanding user needs and jobs to be done, 4/5. Understanding user gains and pains, 4/5. Coming up with solutions, I would say 4/5. Prioritizing with right solutions, I think 3/5. Measuring impact accurately, that's something that we didn't go much deeper. I think it was the prioritization through which we moved forward. I think that would be 2/5. Awareness of fallacies of the solution, I think 2/5, right?
Got it. Thank you, Adarsh.
Cool.
Thanks for the feedback.
Thanks, Keerthana.